Trading has closed on August 16th, 2022. Let's start with our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then make some predictions. Once again, I've had very little time, if any, this day to look at the market. I was away from my desk all day long, but let's see what we came up with. This is my trading plan for tomorrow, August 17th, 2022. I'll be busy part of the day, but hopefully I'll be able to get some trades off. Well, that's not good. There we go. Why that happened, I don't know. Just a reminder, I have personal business this week. I might not post every day, but I'm going to try. Someone pointed out to me I recorded August 17th twice, and then this is 17, 17, and 18. It should be 17, 18, and 19. I corrected that. Look for the pattern with the early low. We got that. We said lower prices should print, and they did. Here's the early low. We got lower price, but we didn't get our target. Our target's 42.63.49. We have to add that one to the list. We've had a cluster of failed targets during this rally. I think I now have 11 failed targets for the year. 11 failed targets in 7.5 months for most systems isn't too bad, but I don't think I've ever had that many in the whole year. And the system just turned 20 years old. So at some point, I have a high degree of confidence these numbers are going to print, but it doesn't mean they have to print right now, and it doesn't mean they have to print anytime soon. Tomorrow's pattern should have the early high. We got an ultimate buy signal in the afternoon. That certainly worked, but the system said it was a false move and price would retrace, and that's already happened. We had some other calls. We said that once we broke over this brown trend line that we would return to it. And we returned to it today, and that was support. We now have a new trend line in dark blue. It's a perfect hit here, and it's the same rule. Either you gap over the trend line or the trend line wins, which means if we don't gap over this high tomorrow, any break over it should retrace, and usually retrace before too long. It's also trend line resistance. We also said there was resistance from the 200-day moving average, and we stopped right at that point. When you have a rally this strong up to a declining 200-day moving average, you don't have to stop right there, but often you do, and if you go past it, it shouldn't be too far past it. Now, I keep trying to count this as 5 waves up. We now have 5 waves in what could be a black 3, which is exactly twice black 1. All you have to do is see if you can count these waves internally to make them fit. Well, this is the count I did have, but it's no longer good because wave 3 is the shortest wave now, and that won't do. I can get some good fibs by moving wave 3 to end here. Well, the fibs are all very pretty. I'm just not certain it's the right count. Wave black 2 and wave black 4 don't really alternate in character, although they don't really have to, they usually do. It's hard for me to count this wave 3 as a 5-wave structure. There's probably some way to do it if you fudge. Usually if you fudge, it means you're wrong. So it might be some way to make this work. Maybe it's right. As I say, I'm busy all week. If it works, fine, but I'm not risking money on it at this time. If we reverse, fine, I'll find some fudging way to count this, but I'm not doing it yet. We're going to go over my call, but I want to remind people I've had very little time to analyze things. I don't make too many wrong calls, but today certainly could be one because I didn't have as much time as I normally have. Wednesday's pattern has a really high. We could still gap down. Typically it's a rally day with a final hour high, but if it fails, you drop in a straight line. There's resistance at the high of day from a trend line, a 200 a day moving average, and the wave count. None of this guarantees a reversal from here, but if the rally is to continue unabated, you should gap over today's high. I'm not saying that won't happen, but if it doesn't happen, it should retrace. Today's also a candidate for a top based on time and someone else's work. Now, as of now, I consider it just a candidate. If the high day holds, I can justify a meaningful drop, but there have been other candidates along the way up, and just because the indicator is fit for a top here doesn't preclude other candidates from being out there. That being said, we shouldn't really go very far over the declining 200-day moving average if we go over it at all. So I consider this to be a top alert zone. Could be here. I'm not totally convinced at this time, but it should be reasonably close. The next date of someone else in which I have a reasonable degree of confidence is a week from today, so there's a date of another person somewhere in the middle. So we could still even go up for another week and it wouldn't change my mind, but it's hard for me to see us going up much more than that, but I didn't think we'd go up as much as we did so far either. So tomorrow has a really high. It's usually a rally day, but this is a candidate for a top, and if it's not a rally day, you drop in a straight line, and that's my plan for tomorrow.